What's up guys, it's Taylor Jensen. This is the 2025 Quiver Breakdown. All right, 2025 Quiver Breakdown. We're gonna start in the most traditional side of the range. This is the Singleton. All right, so the Singleton was designed with Stu Kenson for specifically the World Longboard Tour and traveling around the world and having one board that'll kind of suit every different condition. It's what I rode to my world title last year. It's what I'm still riding on tour this year. It's a board that just really works well in a variety of conditions and suits that traditional longboarding criteria, but with some modern tech and influences and a little bit of performance hidden in there. Next down in the range is the Hull Rider, the TJ Hull Rider. This is the newest board in the range, shaped by Dan Mann, designed as a board that just feels good to ride. It's all about the sensations with this one. Feels super fast and flowy under your feet, very maneuverable and easy to ride, easy to paddle, tons of volume hidden through the midsection. Nice even flow rocker, so it's easy to paddle. Great board for anybody who's just looking for something that's gonna catch a ton of waves and feel great under your feet. Next up, this one's going way back here. This board's been around for a little while. It's the Specialty. This is one of our favorite boards in the range. This board is a wave catching machine with more of a performance rail compared to that Hull Rider. So this board is great for guys who surf softer beach breaks or guys who want to log but still want a lot of performance off the tail. This board has a really nice pintail, sort of rounded pintail on it and a lot of edge. So it's got a lot of bite and drive when you stand up and go. It also has a 2+1 option, so guys coming off more of a performance longboard, that's gonna suit you really well. It's gonna be easy to paddle, easy to catch waves, but still have that performance hidden in the tail. Next down the line, we get to the Gem. The Gem was designed as sort of a hybrid of everything. So it's kind of combining more of a traditional log with more of a performance board, smushing them together in a one board quiver. This board's just designed just for that. It's something that I can take as a 9.5 and ride as a single fin, and feels great, has a ton of trim with that flatter rocker, but it also has a full performance bottom, which allows you to ride it performance if you want. So when the waves get bigger or better, you can take the one board, still be high performance, surf off the tail, rip into it a bit, but you have that flatter rocker and that trim point so that when the waves are smaller, this still works really well. Up next, the TJ Pro V. The Pro V is a high performance machine for crappy waves, basically. We re-engineered the TJ Pro to surf better in your average conditions. So sort of what we get here in California when that wind comes up or when the swell's not really there. It's just high performance to the max for really crappy waves. It has a 5-fin option, which allows you to run quads, which is super fun and playful. Also has a little bit of a wider nose outline just to help with float and stability up there. And a little bit of a flatter rocker profile too for those crappier conditions to keep you going fast, keep that trim speed up, help you connect the dots really easy. Then we get to my old favorite, the TJ Pro. This thing has served me so well. I've won 3 of my world titles on the TJ Pro. It's probably my favorite all-time board just because it's got so much performance in it. For me, being a bigger guy, I love to be able to ride a performance longboard like a shortboard. I love to be able to stand back on that tail and just rip into big turns, especially when the waves are good. And this board really allows me to do that. You can still nose ride it. It still has that nice wide nose outline, but if you're someone who likes to stand on the tail and likes to just rip into waves and surf really performance-based, this is the board for you. We get to the TJ Pro Mid, which is the shrunken version of the TJ Pro. The TJ Pro Mid we designed, basically I wanted a smaller version of the TJ Pro that would fit better and tighter in the pocket, but also just kind of free it up and give me more performance again. It has a 5-fin option, which allows you to run a quad, which is my preferred setup for this particular board. As you can see, it's got that pulled in rounded pintail, just like the TJ Pro. A little bit of sort of an eggier outline, which helps with your stability. But the key to this board is the high performance foiled rail. That in combination with that wider outline gives you a lot more stability, but allows that performance so you can really dig in your rails and turn really hard on edge. From there, we step down a little bit further to the TJ Twinzer. TJ Twinzer is a Stu Kenson design. If you know anything about Stu, he is one of the gurus when it comes to the Twinzer. He's been doing them forever. He knows his stuff. Collabed with Stu on this thing because he made me one and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite boards in my Quiver. I love the feeling that a Twinzer fin setup has. It's super pivoty, so it feels like that twin fin, like a fish, but it also has the drive of what a quad fin would have. So when you put those two together, you have all this quad fin speed and drive, then you have that twin fin sort of skate and release, which just allows you to be so playful with waves, maximize your enjoyment, and really get a lot of performance out of things. All right, so let's talk tech. We're gonna break down 3 different techs here. We're gonna break down the helium longboard variable stringer technology. We're gonna break down the volcanic i-bolic technology. And then on the very end, we're gonna break down the TJ Twinzer, which is that helium technology. So we'll start over here with the variable stringer longboard helium technology. This was designed with a variable stringer to control the flex of the board. So basically you have a wider variable stringer down the tail of the board, which allows you to control that flex and make it a little bit stiffer because that's where you're applying most of your weight and pressure during your turns. And then it's thinner up towards the nose, which allows you a bit more play up there because all you're really doing up there is nose riding or using it as sort of a trim point. From there, we get into the volcanic i-bolic technology, which it's a volcanic lamination with an i-bolic high density foam stringer in it. And same sort of thing there. It allows you to control the flex with that i-bolic stringer, the high density foam stringer in there. The difference between the two would be that the volcanic i-bolic has a stiffer flex and is a more durable technology. I really like it in longboards because it allows me to have a lighter weight board without compromising durability at all. It also has a great flex when it's stretched over that longer length. So that's why we do it in the more performance boards like the TJ Pro, the Pro V, and the TJ Mid. The performance that you get out of that volcanic i-bolic is incredible. It's super high performance, whereas the variable stringer helium is still performance-based and you're still controlling flex, but it has a little bit of a softer feel to it, which really complements a more traditional or a sort of a mid to traditional board. So it's a little bit more cruisy, a little bit more forgiving. And again, that volcanic is just high performance. It just enhances that performance so much. Get down to the end, you're dealing with the helium. The helium is Firewire shortboard technology. If you're a shortboarder coming off a shortboard, you know all about that technology already. Super lightweight, durable, highly responsive. We put that in the Twinzer because it just complemented that shape so well. It allows us to have a mid-length that is super lightweight, super responsive and fast. And with that setup, it's a perfect marriage. All right, so you guys asked for board comparisons. That's what we're gonna jump into right now. We're gonna compare a couple different boards in the range that you guys wanted to hear about, and we'll see how they break down. All right, so first up, we're gonna compare the Singleton versus the Specialty, both of which are pretty traditional longboards, both of which I normally ride as a single fin. The difference being the Singleton is more of a classic California log. It's got that wide square tail. It's got that big wide front end nose. This board is predominantly about nose riding. While it still turns well off the tail, if you're looking for a nose rider, this is where you'd be leaning. The Specialty, on the other hand, has more of that glider-ish outline. It's really all about trim, speed, and flow. So if you want a board that's just gonna work well from nose to tail, you can nose ride, you can turn, you can trim the crap out of this thing. This is more of an all-around board. So if you're surfing waves that are kind of flat or have a lot of dead sections in them, I lean towards the Specialty in those conditions because it helps me connect those dots and those moments way better. So think like Huntington Beach when you're going from outside to the reform. This board's gonna connect that really well. Whereas if you're surfing more like a Malibu or a Sano or a wave that kind of wants more of a nose rider, I'm gonna grab the Singleton and that's gonna be what I go to. Both of these boards are in that variable stringer helium technology. The only difference is this one's got this cool sage tint. This one's just plain white. All right, so the next breakdown is gonna be a really cool one. I love this breakdown because they're so different yet so similar. This is gonna be the TJ Hull Rider and the Gem. Now, both of these boards sit in a category that's kind of that all-arounder longboard. It's not a traditional nose rider, it's not a super high performance board, but both of these boards encompass nose riding and tail surfing into one. So the difference is gonna be the Hull Rider, as its name suggests, has a hull bottom. So it has that rolled bottom, which gives the rider a sensation of smooth glide and just flow. It's really quick and easy, and you're doing a minimal amount of things to get a maximum amount of reward out of your surfing. The Gem, on the other hand, is more of a performance bottom. This has a single to double concave, super hard edge. It's really fast, but it's also a board that you're either gonna ride on the tail or on the nose with a trim point in the middle, so you're gonna have to move a lot. The whole rider, on the other hand, has a similar feel throughout the whole board. You can turn from kind of further up in the board. It's just gonna feel a little bit smoother. So my suggestion is if you're coming off of a longboard or you're more of a longboard cruiser surfer, gravitate towards the whole rider. That's gonna be sort of less of a step away from what you're used to. You're still gonna have a ton of performance, but you're gonna have that longboardy, cruisy feel. If you're more of a shortboarder or someone who likes more high performance surfing, you're gonna wanna grab a gem. That's gonna feel better off the tail and have way more high performance feel. It's gonna be twitchier and more responsive, but it still has that flatter rocker and easier trim of a longboard. All right, and from there we go to the super high performance comparison. This one's a little tricky because they're both the TJ Pro, but this is the TJ Pro V. So the TJ Pro V, it's all about versatility with this one. You've got a little bit of a wider nose outline. That's gonna allow you to have a little more stability up the front end and a little bit easier paddle with that flatter rocker. It also has that squash tail, so it's got a little bit more pivot and it's a little more forgiving off the tail. So you've also got the 5-fin option with the TJ Pro V, which that just really allows you to run it as a quad, which I have a ton of fun with. You see clips of me just kind of sliding the tail a little bit on a longboard. That's with a quad fin setup. It works really well. It's also great when the waves get bigger and you need to go really fast. That's a good solution. But this is just a little bit more of a forgiving version, especially in crappier surf conditions, than what the TJ Pro is. That TJ Pro, again, is just high performance to the max. If you want a longboard that surfs like a shortboard, essentially, that's your choice. And finally, we're gonna break down the mids. I've had a ton of questions about these, probably because they both came out at a really similar time. And the reason being was that they just complemented each other so well. When you get to the TJ Pro Mid, look at the outline. It's like an egg. It has that eggier outline. You're getting a lot of stability out of that width, out of that flatter rocker profile. That more pulled in tail helps you sort of maintain momentum in the tail and not slide out. This board for me is basically a shrunken longboard. So if you're a longboarder stepping down onto a mid-length, this will be a great fit for you. You're gonna have a ton of stability there. It's also a great fit for people just getting into the market, just getting into sort of surfing or mid-length riding, or if you have young kids like me, I have a 12-year-old daughter, she rides the TJ Pro Mid because it's just a nice board for her to be able to carry around and ride. She can handle it, she can control it. Not feeling completely out of control with a big longboard, but you still have that paddle power built in. You can still catch a ton of waves and have a lot of fun, regardless of conditions. Then you get to the TJ Twinzer. The difference with the TJ Twinzer is the Twinzers alone just stand on their own. They're so hard to compare to other boards. This board has a much more of a shortboardier outline. As you can tell, just that pointed nose, obviously pulled in tail, a lot more rocker than what the TJ Pro Mid has, and more volume through the center to help with paddling because you're dealing with that narrower outline. This board is also still super stable, so it's a great fit for guys who want stability in them. But what you're basically getting is more high performance out of this, more of that shortboard twitchy feel, hyper responsive, especially in that helium technology. So I'd say if you're more of a shortboarder or you want that shortboard feel in a mid-length, grab a TJ Twinzer, that's gonna be a great fit for you. But if you just want something that's got a little bit more stability and will ride smaller waves better, with that wider outline and that sort of flatter rocker for crappy days like summertime conditions, TJ Pro Mid's gonna be a great fit for you. All right, so I polled you guys before we started doing this project and I asked you guys what questions you wanted to know about this range and what sort of board comparisons you wanted to see. So here's a breakdown of those questions straight from you guys. Ooh, sizing down. So that's sort of a personal preference, really. It's a volume relation thing. It depends on your size and your weight and stuff like that. As a longboarder, sizing down, I like to go with longer mid-lengths because I'm used to that longer rail line. So I think that that's sort of a good mentality to have, is start longer, and if you want to go shorter after that, you can. But I think it's a good step to kind of go from a 9-foot longboard down to an 8-foot and then drift down into that 7.6 range. All right, so I'll just break it down in single fins to 2+1s, and then quads are kind of in their own little world. But for single fins, I think a 10 to 10.5 inch center fin for most people is a really good size fit, regardless of your size. Obviously, if you're a smaller surfer, maybe you want to ride a 10-inch fin. If you're a bigger surfer, you probably want to step up to that 10.25 to 10.5 inch range. Single fins especially, I'll generally do sort of a 10.5 inch fin with a nice wide base and a little bit of rake there, so you get a bit of hold. With 2+1s, I'm pretty much dead set on riding a 7-inch center with 4.25 inch side fins when it comes to 2+1s. That's just my personal magic preference. I think if you're smaller, you get away with riding a 4-inch or a 3.75 inch side fin. I would still personally go with a 7-inch center, but a lot of you guys out there hit me back and say, dude, I love a 6.5 inch center, it just feels looser, I think that that's a great fit too. So customer suggestion, go for the 6.5 and that'll loosen things up. Oh, so longboards and mid-length. So look, I think on the smaller end, if you're a smaller surfer, you can get away with sort of 60 liter volume in a longboard. That would be like the TJ Pro and the TJ Pro V. Great for lighter surfers or female surfers who want something that they're going to be able to control and handle, both in and out of the water. And then as a bigger guy, I like to go up into the 70 plus liters with my logs. That just seems, more buoyancy is a good thing when you're catching smaller waves. I'm 215 pounds. So yeah, I go up in 70 plus liters and that seems to be a sweet spot for me. So that's a good balance. And then mid-lengths, I mean, look, it's kind of a personal preference again, same thing as what you would do with a shortboard. You kind of have your preference, but you know, down around 50 liters, 45, 50 liters seems to be a sort of a sweet spot. All right, so best board for wave pools, I'm gonna say it's the TJ Pro because of the rocker. So wave pools tend to have sort of a cuppy bottom on them. That's really hard to fit 9 foot plus of surfboard in the wave pocket. So that rocker profile on the TJ Pro has a ton of rocker in it, which just allows you to fit there. So that's kind of, when I've been up to the wave pools and ridden all the different wave pools around, I always grab a TJ Pro and throw that in my bag because I know it's gonna fit in the pocket. I'm gonna be able to get barreled on it. And that's kind of the goal of wave pools, right? You wanna get barreled. That's a trippy one. Look, I would probably say not use wax for a full year. And I'd go back to like 90s Herbie Fletcher's full deck, Astro deck grip, and then I'd be sweet. So yeah, I don't want to surf Alaska in winter without a wetsuit. That sounds miserable. All right, guys, so that's a wrap for the 2025 breakdown. Hope you guys learned something, got some information out of that. If you got any questions, hit them in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Woo.